Chosen one, your soul has walked through seasons where every cent mattered. You know the sound of coins scraping together in your palm, praying they'd be enough for tomorrow. But this message comes with divine authority. God is declaring an end to your survival era. The endless calculations, the quiet nights of anxiety, the silent tears over unpaid bills, he saw it all. You weren't forgotten, you were being formed. Every moment of lack was a lesson, every delay was a setup, and every sacrifice refined you for stewardship over abundance. The world doesn't understand the strength it takes to keep faith when the bank account says otherwise. Yet you kept showing up. You tithed even when it hurt, you gave even when you lacked, and you still whispered gratitude through the storm. That kind of faith never goes unnoticed in heaven. God is not only changing your financial story, He's changing your financial atmosphere. This is not about coins anymore, it's about covenant wealth. Your survival story ends here. Comment, Amen, if you feel that shift in your spirit right now, and don't forget to like and subscribe to Anointed Era, where divine messages like this remind you that your breakthrough has already begun. Being broke was never part of God's original design for your life. Poverty was never divine, it was human. The creator of galaxies didn't form you to live in constant worry about rent or food. When you were made, He embedded within you the ability to create, multiply, and prosper. Scarcity entered through distortion, through systems, mindsets, and fear. But as a chosen one, you are the restoration point. You're the evidence that heaven's economy still operates beyond the world. Look at creation itself. Nothing in nature lacks. Trees don't stress about fruit, oceans never worry about their waves, and birds don't hoard their songs. God built abundance into everything, and you, chosen one, are no exception. Your past lack was not your identity. It was a temporary condition preparing you to carry wealth with wisdom. You are stepping into alignment with your divine inheritance, not chasing money, but attracting provision through purpose. Chosen one, you've already proven your worthiness through patience and endurance. When the tests came, when doors shut and people walked away, you didn't curse God, you stayed. You cried and prayed instead of quitting. That kind of faith opens heaven's storehouse. Many crave abundance but flee from the refining fire that purifies the soul. But you stayed in the furnace until your faith turned into gold. That's why your reward will not just be financial, it will be generational. God tests before He trusts. Every season of lack was a classroom, every disappointment a divine assessment. You didn't fail, you graduated. And now heaven is signing off on your next chapter, where resources, connections, and divine opportunities align to elevate your life. You've proven that even with little, you remained faithful, and that's exactly why God can trust you with much. Money flows through the earth, but faith moves heaven. Your wallet might have been empty at times, but your heart never was. When others panicked, you prayed. When logic said give up, you chose to believe. That faith is your true currency. It's what draws favor, opens divine doors, and activates abundance. You've been investing spiritual currency long before your physical harvest appeared. Now, heaven is ready to release the return. Faith is not blind optimism, it's divine intelligence. It's seeing beyond circumstances into God's certainty. Every prayer you whispered in the dark became a transaction in the unseen realm. You thought you were losing. You were actually accumulating credit in heaven's economy. The time has come for payout. What was held back by delay is being released by divine decree. Chosen one, true wealth isn't just about money, it's about purpose. When you walk in what God designed you to do, provision follows. The reason you struggled was because your season of preparation wasn't meant for profit, it was meant for positioning. God had to realign your heart before He could release the harvest. Purpose without purity can destroy a soul, but purpose anchored in divine will produces endless flow. When you discover your why, heaven supplies your how. Look at every wealthy individual with divine purpose. Joseph in Egypt, Solomon in Israel, Esther in Persia. None chased wealth, yet wealth chased them because they carried a divine assignment. Your life is no different. You are entering a season where purpose will attract partners, resources, and supernatural openings. So don't just chase money, chase meaning. The riches you're stepping into will carry a mission. What you called delay was divine synchronization. Chosen one, God wasn't withholding, he was aligning. He was setting the stage so that when the door opened, you wouldn't just walk in, you'd own the room. Sometimes it's not that you were late, it's that the blessing wasn't ready yet. Like a fine fruit, divine wealth ripens in time, not haste. You might have looked around and wondered why others advanced while you remained in waiting. But understand this, your timeline isn't ordinary because your destiny isn't common. God's blessings are never rushed, they're refined. And now, the timepiece of heaven is pointing directly at your name. The cycle of almost there has ended, you're entering your right now. Scarcity was never just about money, it was about mentality. Many people remain poor not because they lack resources, but because they subconsciously resist abundance. But you, chosen one, are being reprogrammed. You're no longer thinking like a survivor, you're thinking like a steward. The poverty mindset is breaking, and the abundance consciousness is rising. Every time you said, "I can't afford it," a seed of limitation took root. But today, those roots are being pulled out. You're learning to say, "I will find a way. God will provide. The resources are on the way." Words create worlds, and your declarations are shifting your financial landscape. You're stepping from scarcity language into prosperity speech. Chosen one, there was a time when you used to beg for opportunities, praying someone would notice your worth or that a door might open if you just waited long enough. But that era is over. God didn't anoint you to beg, he anointed you to command. You are not a beggar of blessings, you are a carrier of authority. The reason your prayers used to sound desperate was because your spirit hadn't yet realized the weight of its power. Now when you speak, heaven responds. You no longer plead for what is already written as yours. You are stepping into a realm where you command with conviction. Declarations have replaced desperation. You're no longer asking, "When will my time come?" but affirming, "My time is here." Every prophetic word, every declaration of faith, every time you said "it is done" when you still saw lack, those were not empty words. They were divine decrees, and the universe has heard them. The vibration of your voice carries authority because your faith has matured. God's Spirit in you has activated something that shifts atmospheres. Every chosen one carries a story, and yours, beloved, is one that heaven proudly displays. The struggle you faced wasn't just hardship, it was storytelling. Every unpaid bill, every empty fridge, every moment you almost gave up was being recorded as evidence of your endurance. God was writing a story that would make others believe again. Because how could people deny divine intervention when they see where you started versus where you're going? The pain shaped your voice. The hardship sharpened your discernment. You learned how to trust when there was nothing left to trust in but God. And now, he will use your journey as a living testimony of his abundance. You will inspire others not because you were born into wealth, but because you became wealth in spirit before wealth reached your hands. You were forged in the fire that few could survive. Provision is not always logical, chosen one, it's supernatural. God has a way of sending blessings through people, places, and paths you never considered. Remember those moments when you didn't know how you'd make it, and suddenly something or someone showed up just in time. That wasn't coincidence. That was divine flow in action. You were being shown that provision doesn't come from the world, it comes from the Word. As you step into this new chapter, be prepared for blessings that don't fit earthly explanations. Money appearing through forgotten accounts, debts canceled, ideas divinely inspired that create streams of income. God is creative in his generosity. He doesn't just supply needs, he exceeds them. But here, the key, you must stay in flow, not fear. Fear blocks movement, but gratitude opens it wide. The more thankful you are, the more heaven releases. Many chosen ones have secretly feared money because of how the world misused it. You were taught that wealth corrupts, that it's dangerous, or that having too much makes you selfish. But here's the truth. Money doesn't corrupt hearts, it magnifies them. When your spirit is pure, your resources become a tool of healing, not harm. You are not called to reject money, you're called to redeem it. Wealth in the hands of the righteous shifts nations. When you were struggling, you probably promised God that if He blessed you, you'd use it for good. Now is the time to prove it. Don't shrink from the blessings coming your way. Don't apologize for finally having more than enough. Money doesn't change you, it reveals you. The fear you once carried about becoming like them is fading because you now understand. You're not them. You're chosen for divine purpose, and God can trust you with overflow. Gratitude is not just politeness, it's spiritual technology. It turns ordinary moments into miracles. Chosen one, every time you gave thanks even when life hurt, you sent a signal to heaven that said, I trust you anyway. That trust is what unlocks increase. Gratitude multiplies what you have, complaint decreases it. You can't move into overflow with a bitter heart. God blesses those who bless Him even in small beginnings. Look back and notice something: you were never truly abandoned. There was always something to hold on to: a meal, a helping hand, a quiet answer to prayer. Gratitude grows those seeds. When you wake up thankful, you align your vibration with divine flow. The wealthy in spirit understand this. Money follows energy, and gratitude is the most magnetic energy of all. It tells the universe, I'm ready for more. You weren't born into wealth, but you were born to create it. The generational curse of poverty stops here. You were the chosen vessel to end the cycle of lack, to be the one who said, this ends with me. Your ancestors may not have had access, knowledge, or resources, but you do. And what you're building now is not just for you, it's for every name that carries your bloodline. You are the prayer your grandparents prayed in silence. This is why your struggle was so intense. Hell fought your finances because your obedience threatens its systems. The enemy doesn't attack the lazy, he attacks the legacy builders. You are breaking strongholds not just financially but spiritually. Every old belief of "we'll never have enough" is being rewritten through your life. You are setting a new standard for your lineage: abundance with purpose, wealth with worship. Chosen one, heaven has already deposited wealth inside your imagination. Every inspired thought, every creative idea, every divine vision is currency waiting to be converted. You've been sitting on million-dollar ideas because you didn't yet see them as spiritual downloads. But those random ideas are not random. They are divine instructions to manifest abundance. God blesses you through your mind, not just your mailbox. Stop dismissing your creativity. That invention, book, design, or business concept isn't fantasy, it's financial prophecy. The moment you take it seriously, heaven releases resources and connections to bring it to life. The universe responds to faith in motion, not ideas in storage. Start writing, start building, start believing that your imagination is an altar of wealth. You don't need everything figured out, you just need to move. The world offers riches that burden the soul, but God gives wealth that brings peace. There's a difference between being rich and being rested. You're entering a season where money won't come with anxiety or exhaustion, it will come with calm. The jobs, projects, and blessings you'll receive will align with your spirit, not drain it. You're done chasing money that costs you your peace. God's wealth adds joy, not pressure. The secret is alignment. When your spirit and calling match your actions, you stop hustling and start flowing. You don't have to sacrifice your soul for success. You just have to synchronize with purpose. Watch how clients, helpers, and investors begin to appear with ease when your motives stay pure. You'll sleep peacefully knowing your increase was heaven approved. Chosen one, there's a magnetic grace resting on you now. You used to chase opportunities, forcing open doors that were never meant for you. But this next level of your life requires stillness, not striving. You are entering the season of divine attraction. Your energy, your words, your presence, they're calling in provision effortlessly. You don't have to prove anything anymore. You just have to be who God made you to be. When you rest in divine confidence, everything that belongs to you recognizes your vibration and comes home. The law of divine magnetism is real. What's aligned with your purpose will find you. This doesn't mean laziness, it means spiritual positioning. You've worked hard enough, now it's time for results to chase you. What you've prayed for will soon appear in physical form. It's strange, isn't it, how sometimes blessings make you uncomfortable. You've spent so long surviving that receiving feels unfamiliar. When people offer help, You instinctively say, "It's okay, I'm fine." But that's not humility, it's resistance. True humility accepts gifts with grace. God is teaching you to receive without guilt because you've earned this season of ease. Stop thinking you have to struggle to be worthy. The battle was the preparation, not your permanent address. When blessings arrive, smile and say, "Thank you." That's it. You don't have to explain why God chose to favor you. You don't have to justify your peace or your prosperity. The guilt you feel when things go right is the residue of old poverty thinking. Let it go. Every dollar in your hand is not just provision, it's power. You were not given wealth to hoard, you were given wealth to heal. Poverty weakens purpose, but prosperity amplifies light. God is raising you to be a financial warrior, funding good causes, helping the broken, and shining hope into hopeless places. You're not just blessed, you're being equipped. The enemy hates wealthy believers because money in righteous hands destroys systems of corruption. Your abundance will feed the hungry, clothe the poor, educate the lost, and build spiritual havens. You're not chasing luxury, you're commanding light. Wealth in your hands will glorify God louder than any sermon could. This is why the battle was so fierce the darkness feared your financial awakening. Overflow is not just having more, it's being more. You're entering a lifestyle where peace, health, joy, and money all coexist in balance. You won't have to choose between spiritual and material anymore. God is merging both. Overflow means your cup runs over, not for vanity but for visibility. People will see your life and say, "Surely, the Lord has done this." You'll notice that in overflow, you stop worrying about losing what you have because you know it's endless. You give more freely, love more deeply, and trust more boldly. This new level of life is not luck, it's legacy. You've been faithful with little, and now you're being made ruler over much. Overflow is your confirmation that heaven trusts your stewardship. Chosen one, the waiting has expired. You are walking into the life God promised, the life where money no longer controls you, but serves you. This is the divine transition from barely surviving to beautifully thriving. You won't have to explain this shift. Those who doubted you will simply witness it. The same hands that once held pennies will now hold purpose, provision, and power. Every prayer, every tear, every act of faith has built this moment. Your story is about to inspire nations because God delights in turning ordinary people into extraordinary examples of His faithfulness. You didn't chase riches, you chased righteousness, and heaven rewarded you. The richness ahead isn't just material, it's emotional, spiritual, and generational. You've stepped into divine fulfillment. Chosen one, if this message stirred something deep within you, that's not coincidence, that's confirmation. You've reached the moment where everything you've survived finally starts to make sense. The pain, the waiting, the sacrifice, it was never for nothing. Heaven has been watching you faithfully carry burdens that were meant to break ordinary souls. But you're not ordinary. You are chosen. You are divine proof that lack is not permanent, it's preparation. As you stand at the doorway of your rich life, remember this truth. Wealth is not just money, it's peace in your mind, strength in your spirit, and love in your home. True riches begin within. The money will come, yes, but it will flow to a heart that already knows how to give, how to love, and how to serve. You were never chasing dollars, you were chasing divine destiny. And now it's catching up to you. So as you walk into this new era, hold your head high. Your story will not end in struggle, it will end in overflow. Comment below, "I receive my divine abundance." Let your words be your agreement with heaven. If this message resonated with your soul, take a moment to like this video to help it reach another chosen one who needs this word.